My wife called me an embarrassment for not driving a luxury car that was not representative of her lifestyle. So, from now on, she'll be back in a cold, empty house. I met my wife when I was 15 in high school. She was 17. That latter part of my teenage years was probably the hardest of my life since, in half a year, I lost my mother. Never knew my dad, so she was the only thing I could consider family. At that time, me and my wife were only friends, but she was there for me, and grieved with me. I think I started developing feelings for her during that time. We started dating when I was 17, and we got married 7 years later. For context, my wife was very frugal and not materialistic. She never cared about clothes, makeup, brands, cars, always spending money on thrift shops or during sales on whatever she liked. I remember trying to impress her with my 370Z just for her to react with, "What car is this? A Corolla?" But that's what I liked about her the most. She was also the most caring person I ever knew. She's the most successful in our family, always working in big corporations. I always worked as a community first responder for my local hospital. The salary wasn't high, but I loved my job, helping people as much as I could. Fast forward 2 years, she received an offer from an important company for an executive position, offering 4 times her salary. But we should have moved to a different city. At first, I was doubtful since that would have meant losing my job and not being sure if I could have contributed financially to our family indefinitely. Still, she said that she could have sustained the family effortlessly with this new job, and for that time, I could have looked after the house and groceries till I could have found a new job. Since she was so enthusiastic, I accepted. I was happy to support my wife's career. Well, the best way I can put it is that my wife underwent a crazy transformation. Some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type thing, if you know what I mean. She started caring more and more about luxury brands, jewels, cars, etc. I don't think you can quite imagine my disbelief seeing her coming back home with a Versace bag after seeing her for years wearing $10 coats from our local thrift shop. She also started hanging out with her new female coworkers a lot. My wife isn't very extroverted or social, which was quite a shock, but I was very happy for her. I thought that she had finally found her dimension after years of struggling. But that happiness started fading after she started coming way later and home every day. And later, until it was a miracle to talk to her for 10 minutes a day. I thought it was very busy with work till she started posting lots of photos of her with her coworkers drinking, going shopping, and stuff. The fun part is that she never finds time to reply to my text, but she always has a minute to post photos. When she replied, she said she was working. She also stopped saying things to me altogether. Have you ever experienced your wife/husband going to work with an Audi A3 and then coming back home with a Porsche Macan GTS? Well, I did, and let me tell you, it's no fun. I confronted her on whether it was a business-issued car, which it wasn't, and then on why she spent so much money on a car when she didn't care, not even a little about cars. Her passive-aggressive response was that it's her money, and she was entitled to do as she pleased. Or have you experienced not seeing your wife/husband coming back home for a night and not replying to text just to receive a call the following afternoon saying that she forgot to tell me that she left for a business trip? Well, I hope you haven't. But the worst is when she invited me for lunch with her coworkers. I was very happy because that was the first time we were doing something together in months, and I thought that what I've experienced before was only a phase and that it was all ended. My wife left first because she had work to do, so I dressed up nicely and left 2 hours after to the scheduled restaurant. For context, I sold my 370Z years before because I didn't need a sports car anymore, so my daily driver is a very frugal Renault Clio. I like it, and since I don't need that much, I don't have reasons to upgrade to a pricier model or brand. Well, I get to the restaurant, park my car in front of it, get inside just to see my wife staring at me, horror-stricken. She got up from the table and took me outside of the restaurant, then proceeded to literally insult me for parking my Clio in front of the restaurant and in front of her table, saying that I embarrassed her and that I should have parked it somewhere hidden. I was completely at a loss for words. I asked her why, and she said that it was a cheap, non-luxury car not representative of her lifestyle. She then returns to the restaurant, warning me not to embarrass her like this again. I attended the rest of the lunch in shock. That day I realized that the girl I had at my side wasn't my wife. It wasn't the girl I married anymore. My wife is now out of the house, celebrating a great year for the company, and I'm here at home writing this with the divorce papers in front of me. I don't think I can handle this situation anymore. I tried many times to talk to her, to tell her how I felt, to tell her that she changed, that she was not the same woman I knew, but she just doesn't listen. She always says that she has no time and needs to work, or she tries to minimize the situation by saying that it's not true and that she never changed. She wanted kids, but now she doesn't want them anymore, saying that they would rob her time from her career. She wanted to travel but didn't want to do it for the same reason. Is she really the same woman I married? But still, I can't bring myself to talk about divorce with her, most likely because I hope that somewhere hidden inside of her there's still the woman I loved and still love, even if this doesn't seem like the case. Update. Well, after that business party, my wife didn't return home. I tried contacting her since I was very worried, but she didn't pick up the phone, not even once. She returned home in the morning exactly when I was about to leave for her workplace to ask about her. I asked her what happened, and she said she stayed at this female coworker's house since she drank a lot and was in no condition to drive. I told her that she could have sent a text to warn me and that I would have gone to get her. She responded, "With what? The Clio?" I stood there in silence, and she later said she forgot about warning me. I asked how she was feeling, only to be answered in monosyllabes. We minded our own business for a while, and then she came to me and she says she had something to discuss. I tell her that I have something to discuss with her too. And well, would you look at that? She asked for a divorce. I wasn't expecting that at all. I asked her why, and she replied that after talking to her friends, she understood that I wasn't fit to be her husband, that we have different values and lifestyles, and that she deserves a man of similar worth. She was just waiting for the right time to bring it up, and after the party, she decided. I'm going to be completely honest, that was a low blow, but I just smiled at her. I tried talking to her, proposing to separate for a while to see how things go. I even proposed couple therapy like someone suggested. But she was dead set on it. So I calmly told her everything I needed to say, from the fact that I was thinking about divorce to the fact that I felt like she changed, concluding by saying that I'm sure she will find an awesome man since I know her worth having been her husband for more than 9 years, but that I know what I'm worth too. We decided to separate for now, and we will arrange the divorce later on since she has no time now, but we have a verbal agreement on some things. I returned to my hometown to relax and decide what was next for me. I should be able to regain my previous position in the hospital, but it's all to see. But I understood that my wife couldn't care less about me when our lengthiest discussion concerned who was taking the dog. For context, we got him a month after moving since she always wanted one and to keep me company. But in 2 years, she probably spent the equivalent of 2 hours with him. I always cared for him, and he's been a more than loyal companion for those 2 years. So, she literally made a fuss about the fact that I couldn't take the dog with me for maybe half an hour or so. I told her that I didn't care at all. I was taking him with me since she didn't have time to care for him. And it was very strange for her to say those things when she didn't care, not even a bit about him for 2 years. So I packed the necessary, and before leaving, I asked her if she was cheating on me, and she denied it. I trust what she said, and even if it wasn't the truth, I honestly don't want to hear anything about it. It would only make me feel worse. I feel calm, but inside I feel like I've lost an important piece of myself. The things she said didn't hurt me initially. However, the more I think about them, the more heartbroken I feel. However, seeing my dog so happy inside the Clio greatly improved my mood. He loves car rides. Even if things went down this road, I still wish her all the best.